Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voices from the Mausoleum. And today we are doing our very first episode of a new collaboration I'm doing with my co-host, JR from Horror Fiend TV, called Monday Morning Musings. What does that mean in reference to horror, right? So there's all these like random things that always come up in conversation with people about horror movies and TV shows and whatever else. And it's always these like little small things that I feel like don't take up like these huge conversations. It's just like my favorite this, or I really love this one scene from this one type of movie. And so I thought it would be really cool to essentially do a series on random ass horror topics like that. So here we are.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So our first episode is going to be our favorite horror TV series. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
You want me to go first?
No matter, whichever you want to.
Okay. You do yours first and I'll talk about
Okay.
mine.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this is it's going to be a good first episode. Yeah, one of the things that people talk about is definitely, it's always, it's your movie. And
Yeah.
a lot of times, like, the series get lost in the whole shuffle. And there are a
They do.
lot of very good horror series out there. And there's very lot of them. But there are plenty of good horror series. And when you asked me about this, you were like, all right, so what's your favorite? I gotta be honest, it took a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always been a fan of Penny Dreadful. It was a Showtime series. Only lasted 3 episodes, unfortunately. But it went from 2014 to 2017. And what I liked about this is if you're a fan of the originals, the Wolfman, the Frankenstein, the Dragon.
Yeah. Right.
This did such an amazing thing of taking all these literature legends and wrapping them up into a series. I mean, and not only that, if you don't know who Eva Green is, I mean, you haven't been watching movies.
Yeah,
She
she's
is
fantastic.
It doesn't matter what role she plays, she kills it. I mean, she's on a series on Netflix, Miss Pellegrin's House of something.
Oh, yeah.
That's her. She's amazing. She was kick-ass in the sequel to 300.
Yes.
I mean, and then she plays Vanessa Ives in this series, which I would say she carried the series, but there were so many good actors in the series.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never a big fan of Josh Hartnett, but him playing Ethan Chamber was good.
Yeah. I knew he was in it. Yeah.
He's good. And the person I didn't know at all was the character. His name is Rory Kinnear, and he actually played the monster Frankenstein.
Uh-huh.
Now, what I like about the series is every time we think Frankenstein, we think he's mindless. He's just makes noises, a bolt on his neck. But the fact that they took this Frankenstein and they educated him and they made him assimilate more with society because he actually read literature.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is, I'll be honest, it is a turnoff to a lot of people because of the fact that this series is so in-depth on literature that if you're not a big literature fan, you're
going to be lost.
I mean, what do you think? Did you enjoy
So this is when people roll their eyes at me. So I actually didn't watch it because it had excessive amounts of nudity in it. I don't like nudity in my horror. I'm a bit of a prudent when it comes to like horror. I don't want it in my horror. And I mean, I think Eva Green is gorgeous. Like, I get it. You're super comfortable being naked all the time, but I don't need it. I don't need it. And it's such a put off for me that it will prevent me from watching things. It just bothers me. So I didn't see it, but I mean, I like I like Josh Hartnett. I loved him in 300. I'm not 300. 30 Days a Night. Yes. And I love Eva Green, but I just didn't think it was going to be something I could get through. So I actually never watched it.
It was good. I mean, Timothy Dalton in it. I mean, who doesn't know him from freaking Flash Gordon?
Oh yeah.
This guy's been around for such a long time, but
yeah.
I mean, the fact that you take this guy who he's rich, wealthy, he's an explorer, a hunter, and he gets a cast of basically these novels, and you get the Victor Frankenstein, who, I like the fact that he already built the monster, so he's still trying to improve on his mistake.
Okay.
And then to top it off, he had an addiction to drugs, which he even made even better, where he he
Okay.
liked to balance between life and death.
Yeah.
They actually created the Bride of Frankenstein in this, which was actually pretty cool too.
Oh, yeah.
But it was the fact that you had the monster Frankenstein who comes in, and there is one scene, I think it's in episode 2, where him and Eva Green sit down, they have this conversation. And it was I've watched a lot of movies. This was the most amazing one-on-one dialogue I've ever seen in a horror film, where they're just going back and forth about life. And it was, this is why I highly recommend Penny Dreadful. Unfortunately, like, I'll be honest, like, the second season started to nosedive a little bit. And then when they went to the third,
Mm-hmm.
the writing was on the wall. You knew eventually it was going to get canceled, which is unfortunate because tremendous amount of potential, but it seems for a lot of series lately, you can have all the potential in the world and they'll pull the plug whenever they want to pull the plug, which is
usually at like the peak of like crazy stuff going on.
yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite series?
So this was kind of difficult for me too, especially because I thought I knew what my answer was when we originally talked about it. And then I was like, I'm going to look this up, and like Googled horror series. So like, I know there's ones that I'm not thinking of. And then I ended up with this like long list. And then I basically had to say, okay, well, I don't want to put anything on the list and consider it if it's not finished, if it's waiting on a second season, if it's in the middle of whatever. So I waited. I was like, no, I'm going to move those off. And I got it down to like a couple. And then I was trying to think of one that just like, I don't know, like really stuck with me. And the one that I ended up landing on is an anthology series that used to be on the Sci-Fi Channel. Now you can watch it on Shudder. It's called Channel Zero. So there's each season is a story. And every story is like vastly different. As far as I know, they don't connect in any way. They're like really very, very, very different. And Channel Zero is just like the overall name. And then each season has like a title or whatever.
Mm.
And so my favorite one, I'm pretty sure it's the third season or the second season. It's called No End House. And this one, like, was such a crazy cool concept. And it was very kind of like, it's very bizarre horror, all of them. Very sci-fi horror, like really pushing like these weird boundaries of like what is going on, like just really crazy stuff. And so No End House is essentially the story about this haunted house that only shows up once a year, and no one knows where it's going to be until the night that it shows up, and you have to like find it and hope that it's close to you or you miss it. And it's only there for one night. It's supposed to be like the scariest of the scariest of the scariest haunted houses. And so we followed these like these two friends that are going into, they want to, like, it's in their city. So they were like, let's do this. We'll go. And the short background is one of the girls, her father had died previously before she went away to college. And her best friend and her kind of drift apart because like she leaves town and the best friend doesn't. And so anyway, so she comes back into town. They go to this haunted house. Well, the thing is once you go in the house, you don't really leave it. Like you think you do, but you realize after the fact that like the world that you're in afterwards is not right. It's wrong somehow. And without giving too much away, like it just really, like, it got really bizarre. Like it's a very bizarre horror story, but it was one that stuck with me because it's got like some grief horror. I thought like the acting was really good. It's got some weird gore sequences that are like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then the way that the people who live in this other world, for lack of a better word, like the way that they survive, what they need to survive is like very edgy, modern zombie-esque. Like it's a really cool concept that like I haven't seen anybody else like explore. And I'm super fascinated by haunted houses. I like a lot of like, you know, found footage haunted house movies. I like going to haunted houses. Like I think it's a really cool concept, and everybody's always looking for the one that like makes this like really scares you, because a lot of them are just jump scares and then when you're done, you're done. Well, this one's not quite like that, and it just really stuck with me. And then I ended up watching all of the other ones, and all of the other ones are just as equally bizarre and creative and fun and different. And I really love that series, and I don't know a lot of people that even know what that is, so it's like it was also super underrated. So I was like, I think that's going to be my favorite.
I usually like pass over every time I see on Shudder. I'm like, I heard about this one. I just kind of accidentally keep going over it. Maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah,
It's
good.
I know we said our favorite, but what would you consider like a runner-up to your favorite?
Probably The River. And this is another one nobody's ever heard of. And The River only had one season, but it was it has I can't think of the guy's name in it, but that one was really good. That was very like supernatural lore. Like it's essentially the story about a dad who does this like nature show, and he's like searching for real magic, because he believes that like there has to be something real to have created the world as it is. And so he goes missing, and then his beacon like goes off or whatever. And so the mom goes and gets the son, and they're all like estranged. They're like this whole family push and pull or whatever. And they go to find him. And while they go to find him, like a whole bunch of crazy shit happens. And it's like all like supernatural, Amazon, like Lost in the Forest, haunted dolls. I mean, it hits like all these, like, I don't know, it's crazy. But it only had one season, but that would definitely be probably a really close runner up, because that was the one I was originally going to pick, actually, was The River. What about you? What would be your runner up?
Actually, I got two of them.
Okay.
I got two of them. I can't. You know why?
Making lists.
I like these two so much, though. First one is called Black Spot. It's actually I hope I get this right. I think it's a French horror film series on Netflix. So what I like about it is it takes the small town aspect, and it takes a female sheriff who went through an experience where she was kidnapped, awakens in like the woods, chained to a rock, and she literally has to like remove two fingers in order to escape. Okay. So when she escapes, she knows there's something in the forest, but she can't really understand what it is. Now you take the fact that here comes industry and they're tearing down the forest, so now it adds another layer of like kind of folklore to it, because there is something in the woods.
Yeah.
But it actually, it's one of the series that one moment is doing horror, the next minute is doing like a crime drama series. So it kind of blends both of them.
Okay.
And the other one, it was a recent one I actually started doing a review on. It was called Crackhole Monsters, and I think I mentioned this to you. It's on Netflix as well, and it's another one where basically they take Norwegian mythology and they wrap it into a horror series about a girl who, when she was young, she was in the car with her mother, and basically her mother tried to commit suicide with them two in the car, and something saved her. So when she grows up, she always has this feeling that there's something protecting her. You don't know what it is at first, but then here comes a professor in the school who she wants to work in his class. He has like a secret he's hiding, so he assembles this team of gifted people to go after or find out what's going on in the world as darkness begins to descend on this town. It's actually pretty good.
What's that one called again?
Crackhole Monsters. It's only one season. I got a feeling they're going to have a season 2, because the way they ended it, kind of gives you that like, all right,
It's on Netflix though.
It's on Netflix right now.
So maybe not.
No, I hope. I mean, I'll freaking write a letter to Netflix.
Netflix is pretty bad about that. Yeah, so that's my favorite and my runner-ups. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Cool. So our next Monday morning musing is going to be our least favorite horror TV show. So yeah, I'll put Horror Fiend TV and JR's information in the description below. So make sure you circle back to see our least favorite. Let us know what your favorite is. Your favorite TV horror show, horror TV series.
Comment below. We want to hear.
Yeah. And that's it. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you in the next one.
Monday. Cheers.